Hi, we're Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust. We are partway through our 7-week VW Campervan road trip around northern Spain and Portugal.
And we are currently on the Portuguese Atlantic coast in the stunning peninsula of Peniche. If you've seen any of our previous videos from this trip, you'll know that we have had the most wonderful time exploring in northern Spain. We had a week in the Costa Europa National Park and it was fantastic.
And then heading out of the mountains, we went south looking for the sun and we found it in the beautiful and historic city of Salamanca. We then meandered our way across to the borderlands of Spain and Portugal, and that was a truly, truly wild experience.
And now we're on the Portuguese Atlantic coast. We are on the peninsula of Peniche and we have had a great time exploring already. Yesterday we took a boat trip out to the Berlengas nature reserve and take a look at how we got on. How beautiful was the colour of the sea on that island. We took a ferry trip across with a company called Berlengas. It was €25 per person, and then we did pay an extra €10 per person to do a glass bottom boat trip around the island so that we could go into all of the different caves, and it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, you know me, I don't really like spending money on that and I winced a little bit, but wow, you can't come to this part of the world and not visit there. It was just a stunning island. As Jackie said, it was almost like a national park, so it was really well preserved, but there was so much to see and do on the island.
Primarily, it's actually a bird spotting place, and we did go up to all of the different high points and had a look at what was around. We did see some gannets. We couldn't quite get photos that we could show you of it, but it was a truly wonderful experience just sitting there with all the birds flying around.
And glass bottom boat tour, not really my bag, but the local expertise was fantastic and they took us through some unbelievable caves that went almost, well, they did actually go through the island. Yeah. It was a little bit freaky at times. You couldn't really see much of the bottom, but we did get a sea view of the castle, which was really, really impressive.
They actually took us under the arches of the castle pathway that links it to the rest of the island, and then dropped us off at the castle. So we had a really good explore. It was €1 to get in. It's now a hostel. We had a nice beer there. It was just a really pretty place to be, and it was a really nice place to just sit and people watch, actually.
Yeah, and talking of people watch, we then highlighted a key beach that we wanted to go to. To be honest, it was just by the docking point, so it's not going to be that quiet, but we meandered our way down onto this beach and we pretty much had it to ourselves. There was maybe, 5 other couples on there, and it was beautiful for a swim and a sunbathe.
Romantic even.
Yeah. Karma, as ex-teachers, really caught us up.
Yeah, the next boat came in. There's only about 6 or 7 boats that come to the island in a day. It was quite noisy with the boat disembarking. And then this trail of teenagers, and I mean trail, there were at least 200 of them on a school party. Teenagers invaded the beach. It was a really small beach. Took it over, which was actually quite fun to watch, and they were really enjoying themselves. But as ex-teachers, that was definitely the time to leave and go to the bar.
We'd love to show you some footage of that, but we'd have probably been arrested for filming all the kids. They were everywhere. One of them, the strangest experiences was we went to sit on the dock and actually witnessed the teacher actively encouraging kids to tombstone off the dock into the deep water. But it was okay because there were signs everywhere saying no tombstoning, so that was all right.
But actually, it was quite refreshing watching the fact that a school could take the kids to the beach and they could have really good fun on the beach without harassing them, telling them they can't swim in the sea. So it was nice to watch, but yeah, we did disappear very quickly.
So we're going to do something a little bit more cost effective today, and we're going to get the bikes out and we are going to explore this peninsula because the coast, and if you can see behind us, looks absolutely wild. And from what we believe from the research that we've done, we're going to be coming across high cliffs and really exposed Atlantic drifts, really. So that's us for today. So we'll see how we get on and we'll catch you later in the day.
You're right down there, Rich.
It's very lonely. It's always really nice to get the bikes out, and it's always nice when you're doing that in the sun and you've got the most spectacular bit of coastal scenery to cycle around. It felt really quiet, but seemingly around every corner we had the most amazing views.
And we used the Wild Guide just to find 5 or 6 different points along the cycle route, one of them being the Veranda de Pelitas, which was, I don't know how to describe it, a little stone-carved chamber that the sea had carved, and you could climb down into it on some metal ladders and had a really good view across the sea. It had all the sea stacks around it. It was really pretty. And yeah, we just had a nice cycle around. We didn't go to any bars. which was good.
We had a lovely evening. We met a couple on the air that we're staying at, Jack and Carol, and they've been doing this for 18 years, travelling around Europe, and they just had a mind of information, and it was just really, really useful to sort of pick someone else's brains of feelings on the ground and places to go and stay. So our bucket list has just got endless now, thanks to Jack and Carol.
And I have found my favourite little morning coffee stop where you can get a nice coffee and one of the Portuguese tarts for €2. We were there too early today, but they also do a port and the Portuguese tart for €4.50, so that's what I'm heading for when we're in Porto.
So we've had a really successful few days staying here at the motorhome air on Peniche. It's a private air, so it is really, really secure, and it might feel a little bit like a compound, but that just made us feel just a little bit more at ease because the main gates get locked at 7:30 and there's a security gate to get out. But it was just like a really nice feel to the place.
Yeah, it is basically a car park. So you are parked quite close to other vehicles, but actually it's not that busy at the moment, so that didn't make a difference to us. It's been recently refurbished, so all of the walls around the compound have been freshly painted and it's all very clean and white. The facilities are spotlessly clean. It was €13.50, including electric hookup, and you had to pay £1 for the showers and 50 cents for the toilets, which did add to the costs, I suppose, but it's just really good value and brilliant facilities.
And talking of which, probably one of our most unique shower experiences in Rate My Shower. Welcome to the ASA Motorhome Park in Peniche. As you can see, spotlessly clean and modern facilities. Access to the cubicle requires a €1 coin for 6 minutes of hot water. The time is ticking. A beautiful and stylish cubicle with modern glass screen, full temperature control with rainhead shower. Beautiful and clean tiling. Minimalist designer drains. A clever addition of ample shelving within the cubicle area. The star of the show, the rainhead shower. Adequate and secure ventilation. Clean line seating and adequate hookage with a special note for the high-level towel rail. Incredibly simple and very useful. Overall, very impressive scores, with strengths being space, cleanliness and the shower head. Areas to improve: it lost a mark for the 6-minute limit of hot water and only 2 showers for each gender in peak times. Overall score of 48 out of 50, well deserved for the ASA Motorhome Park in Peniche.
And although you feel like you parked in a big car park with the van, there is actually an area where we're sitting now that's got benches and palm trees, and it's got a really nice barbecue area. So last night there was some people cooking some fabulous steaks on there. It has a nice feel to it. There was people just sitting, chatting, having a beer in this barbecue area.
And it's got all the facilities you would expect, I think, from an air, because we are quite new to this.
Yeah.
So there is grey waste, there's chemical waste disposal, there's water top-up. Again, uniquely, I think, there's a jet wash for washing your vans off. Never really felt the need to wash my van off mid-trip, but hey, if it suits you, then that's available.
So for just over €40 for 3 nights, we have had a great time here, and I think excellent value.
We'd come back in a moment, but what we are going to do is we are heading off north now. So we're packed up, we're ready to go. We're not entirely sure where we're going to end up tonight, but heading north, keeping the sea on our left, and we'll see what wonderful places we find.
Since we last spoke to you when we were in Peniche, we have had a bit of a couple of days just travelling rather than exploring, moving up the coast. We're meeting family just outside of Porto, and we have got to be there by Saturday, so we needed to get shifting a bit. We did have one night stopover at a really great campsite just outside of a town called São Martinho de Porto. I think I pronounced it right. Richard can put the description below. The campsite turned out to be a real bargain. It was €14 for the night, and it was a proper, almost like a resort. It had a big kids area with slides, it had a huge bar area, really nice facilities, really nice pictures. We couldn't quite work out why it was only €14 per night, but we were only there fleetingly. It was a bit of a strange weekend there. It coincided with the celebrations for Portugal Day, which is on Tuesday, but the weekend there was a huge festival in the town.
Yeah, it was really buzzing, and obviously changed the face of the town completely because everyone seemingly had gone to the coast. The campsite was busy, there were kids everywhere. It was really lovely to see. It was complete multi-generational families getting together by the coast, having a bit of a festival atmosphere. It made for a little bit more of a livelier campsite than we're perhaps used to, but it was a really nice experience.
I think there was some sort of national football on. Portugal must have been playing because the whole campsite kept erupting every 10-15 minutes. They were watching something.
And then we headed further north to a bucket list destination for me, which was Nazare, which is home to the world record for the biggest wave. Quite an impressive sight, and if you've ever seen any of the footage, and I'd certainly try and look it up, of the surfers on those big waves. 26 metres is the world record. They reckon they've had over 30 metres there, and you can absolutely see it.
We were on the lighthouse looking down on the beach, and it's probably about 30 metres down the cliffs to the sea, and there's photos where the sea and the waves have actually come up as high as the lighthouse. It is incredible, and there was a really interesting museum there with some of the surfboards of the people that have done the big waves, with lots of information, so it was really interesting, but it was not really the kind of place that we would want to stay. It's quite a big, lively town, so we just carried on moving up the coast.
And then it turned out to be the most fearsomely hot day yesterday, and we were driving north and we didn't really quite know what to expect, but it was quite desolate really. We were going through areas of salt flats, through dunes and through deforested areas, so there wasn't really much to see, and it was getting steaming hot. And then we found ourselves at this little gem of a campsite, and wow, it was just an oasis of calm and solitude and exactly what we wanted.
So for the next couple of days, we are at a campsite called Tamanco, and it's slightly inland. I think it's probably about a 20-minute cycle to get down to the beach, or there's a little village maybe a kilometre's walk away, but we don't need anything. It's just a really beautiful little campsite. It's really quaint, it's really quirky. It uses a lot of recycled and upcycled things to make little sheds for people to stay in. We'll take you on a tour in a minute. It is exactly what we needed, particularly the pool. The first thing that really struck us with the campsite, it's got lots of pictures that are all in their own little enclosures, so you've got your own space, you're quite sheltered from everyone else, and they are really actually quite large pictures. Take a look at ours.
Campsite's run by a lovely English family, and it's really quirky in so many different ways. None more so than the little honesty box shop. There's got a few essentials here, and it's just open all the time, and you just pay your dues in cash and you're well sorted.
I like the fact that they've got little half bottles of red wine there, Rich. I love the fact that scattered throughout the campsite there are these tiny little quirky shacks that you can hire with no more than a double bed in them, and they are just so sweet.
For me, this is perhaps some of the most innovative upcycling of accommodation I've ever seen. They've used concrete piping to make little pods with, as Jackie says, a double bed in there and a glass front, and they just look wonderful. Not sure what they'd be like to sleep in, but they are great upcycled accommodation.
It has a small, perfectly formed pool that's actually deeper than you think, but on a day like this, you just need it to cool down.
Welcome to Camping Tamanco. Beautifully designed and stylish facilities. I particularly like the retro tiling throughout. A nice touch of a traditional lock on the cubicle door. Polished concrete floors add to the overall retro styling and good drainage. Simple and effective thermostatic controls. A retro and highly effective showerhead providing rain effect. Quality, upcycled hookage, a squeegee to keep things clean. Overall strengths. The designer style, cleanliness and hot water. Areas to improve, the temperature of the room and the shelving. Overall score of 47 out of 50 for Camping Tamanco.
So we've been at this beautiful beachside air for a couple of days, and we have decided we better actually get out exploring. So we are going across to a town called Costa, which is famous for its stripy houses apparently. So we're off on the bikes, which you have behind us.
I've had to drag Jackie out because I think Jackie is absolutely in her heavenly place at the moment, but a little bit more of that later.
So we've cycled into Costa, and how incredible are these stripy houses behind us. The town is absolutely beautiful and it's really quiet. It's just waking up for the morning, so I think we're going to go and find somewhere for a coffee.
Morning.
Morning.
And welcome to the beautiful beach of Praia do Labrego. We have been camping just out the back of the dunes for the last 3 nights, and hopefully you'll have seen yesterday we actually got out and did a little bit.
We had a cycle ride. It was a really nice, easy, flat cycle ride out to one of the local towns called Costa, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's a town that's just famous for its really stripy buildings, and it had a really pretty church there, and we had a coffee at the beach. We had a lovely time. We carried on cycling. We went out to a lighthouse. But I have to say, the cycle back was not quite as easy.
No, it was into a massive headwind and it just started to drizzle. It was warm drizzle, which was a really bizarre, warm and salty drizzle, probably a bit too much information there. But it was, it was a bit of a pull on the way back. But then, as most things on this coast, the weather changes dramatically the other way for the better. And we had a beautiful afternoon yesterday.
Yeah, the campsite, as we said, actually it's not a campsite, it's an air, is right on the beach. So we've had a couple of days where we've just chilled out, read our books. We haven't been in the sea because the sea is really rough and the beach has been red flagged for the 3 days. But we've had a really chilled out time. We only came for 1 day. We found the spot in Martin Dory's Take the Slow Road to Portugal and Spain book, and he said it was one of his favourite all-time airs that he stayed at, and we have to agree.
It's a pretty odd setup. However, we are looking at the positives out of all of it. It does have facilities. So it has a toilet and shower block, and they are pretty amazing. But it's only open certain times because the air is twinned with the business that is the water park next door. So you can't use the water park unless you pay to use the showers and toilets. So the toilets are only open from 6 at night until 10 in the morning. And that works fine. It's a cheeky bonus.
Oh yeah, to us it is a bonus. Just being on an air, it was only 13 euros, and if you wanted electricity, an extra 4 euros per night. With toilets and showers, absolutely perfect. Even better, there is the most amazing beach bar right by the campervan. It's just in the dunes. It serves really nice food. Don't tell Richard, we had a burger last night and it was actually a vegan burger. Don't think he realised until afterwards, but it was really nice. We had a nice bottle of wine. It's a really chilled place.
Yeah, I'm not one for going to vegan restaurants, don't judge me on that one, but there was nothing on the menu that wasn't vegan. And the burger was really good.
It was.
I was shocked. So maybe that's the epiphany moment that I need to change my life on the Portuguese coast. Who knows?
It was a great cafe. We've been a few times. They've got toilets, so in the day we can go and have coffees. We've had a couple of beers in the afternoons. Just a really nice chilled out place.
And it is almost time to move on, but before we do that, it wouldn't be right and proper if we didn't do a very quick Rate My Shower. Welcome to the Vagueira Splash Air in Vagueira. A bit of a walk to the facilities. Admire the pool complex and water slides as you go. Airy and clean facilities. A modern tiling and cubicle arrangement keeps everything functional and clean. The welcome addition of a colour-coordinated seat, simple hookage, the sole example within the cubicle, effective drainage, a return of the push-button shower with no thermostatic control. What can I say about this? A picture paints 1,000 words. Overall strengths, cleanliness, the number of showers and drainage, areas to develop, the length of the push, and the shower head. So an overall score of 34 out of 50 for the Vagueira Splash Air in Vagueira.
So after 3 amazing days here, it is actually time for us to move on. And this is the end of part 1 of our road trip, because for the next 2 weeks, we're headed inland and my family are joining us, my sister, my mum and my sister's family. And we've got 2 weeks in luxury in a villa. So we're setting off, we've got a 2-hour drive up into the mountains, and we will catch you next week from a little villa in Resende.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.